All right, man. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Travis. You're looking excellent.
Well, I don't know about
This
that.
is, yeah, we have a different camera angle.
I went to the doctor,
Oh,
and we're going to be working on our spiritual health today, but I have committed to work on my physical health as well, which is just as important. So, anybody else out there turned 50,
yeah,
let yourself go.
sadly.
Sadly, uh,
I'm
you're
there.
not alone. I'm with
I'm there
you.
too. Is your mic on? Hey, thanks. We'd like to thank all our listeners. We've gotten some great feedback, by the way, and thanks for being so patient with us as we're new to this podcasting. And I just want to let everyone know, like, we're in the middle of like building a studio. We are all in on this for at least a year, and so we've got all these boom mics and mic and cameras and everything that I was trying to set up today, and then realized I didn't have an audio interface. And podcaster Dan is on vacation, and he's the
Producer Dan.
producer.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I call him?
Podcaster Dan. We're all
I'm really
podcasters.
tired tonight, so Travis is gonna need to. I do have an energy drink over here, but anyway, I'll try to stay coherent the best I can. But we're gonna have this thing dialed in. We'll have multiple camera angles for our guests and everything else that we're trying to do, and just please be patient with us. I do want to talk a little bit about again what we're doing and why we're doing this. First off, this is a labor of charity and love, and Travis and I we're only doing this for the right reasons. We know there are people that are hurting out there right now. We talk to them all the time. I talk to them every day. I talk to somebody now. As my name's out there, and people reach out about this stuff. And again, we're compassionate. We want to help God's children navigate through some confusing things. That being said, my wife brought up today, Glenn, I think you should just tell people that are listening, like, your real intentions and really go over it, because I hate podcasts and social media. This is my wife, because it's always seems fake and it's a money grab, or and I don't even know if they believe in the products that they're peddling. And she's going off. She goes, "What could you do to tell your people?" And I'm like, "Well, we're all pretty straightforward, so we're just going to tell them if this ever had enough listeners that it would be a money grab. Other than maybe helping cover the cost of this podcast, which we just do out of pocket." We would just give it all to the church. Like, there's no money grab here. We're not looking to build some big business with this podcast. There's no motive other than helping children of God. And we feel like, with our jobs and everything else, our church service maybe isn't enough for what we're trying to do. And we felt inspired to do this. So that being said, I would like you to please, if you even listen to this, just subscribe to our YouTube channel, The Extra Mo Show. If you can't find it, you can find us on Facebook, and we're always posting it on there. We can send you links. I had somebody in my neighborhood ask, "You do a podcast? Could you send me the link? Because I can't find it." But if you guys subscribe, people will be able to find it. Is that how it works?
Yeah, it takes a while, and it's just buried in the thing. Even if you type in the exact thing, it'll take a while.
Yeah, you can't even find it. So you got to find our links. If you're able to watch this, please just subscribe. Make a comment. Tell us what you'd like to hear. Anybody, criticize us. Say, Glenn, we know you have fake leather patches on your sleeves today, but that doesn't mean you're an academic.
It's just to make you look smarter. I will say, when you say criticize us, I think that it is important to know that we also are coming at this. We're not coming from a place of like we're right, which is like we've talked about this for years, these topics for years.
Yeah.
We feel like what we're saying is true at this point in time, but we're on a journey as well. And so it's going to be interesting to kind of explore this stuff, and hopefully our testimony will build as well.
Yeah, for sure. I know every time we talk about this, it strengthens my testimony, of the Savior and his work and the whole deal. So anyway, so please subscribe, comment, get as much chatter going to help us get this thing going. As time goes, we're going to get into the meat of a lot of history that people struggle with, and we'd like to build an audience before we really get into a lot of that. So right now, this is faith building. We're just kind of going off inspiration. I do want to say a couple times I've had major historical stuff prepared, and for whatever reason, the Spirit has directed me not now. So whatever that means, we go by the Holy Ghost here. This is how we do it. And thank you for listening and supporting us and helping and being part of the cause. And if you have any questions, about the church. I've put this out there. People are afraid to comment on YouTube, but just do it. Like, who cares? But people have messaged me that have watched the podcast. There's all kinds of topics coming at me. Have you gotten any of that yet?
I haven't got anyone really talking to me about it. No.
Oh, okay. I've had quite a bit of interaction with people
Yeah.
saying, hey, what about how the church spends its money? Hey, what about women in the priesthood? I mean, I just had a discussion with a guy the other day about that for 2 hours in my car dealership. Women in the priesthood, which he had some comments that I could tell were sincere, but then I had some truth bombs that I'm not sure he liked, but I know he walked out of here questioning a lot. So we do have a lot of information on all of this stuff. Thousands of hours of study. I'm not saying I am an academic. I'm not a BYU professor. Neither is Travis. He's really smart, though. I've known Travis a long time. He's the smart one out of these two. I'm the sales guy, presenter guy. He's smart. Economy major. I took Econ 101 at the U and had to withdraw. So on my report card, it just says W.
Oh, nice.
Econ.
I
only went for a third class. I went 3 times. By the second class, I knew I was toast because there was a cute girl in there I wanted to get to know. And as soon as she just admitted she had no interest,
my kids always say, just take the dub.
Just take the dub. Yeah,
so you got it.
I did. I took the dub.
Took the dub,
and I paid for the dub.
Yeah.
I think I paid full
price
money for that. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll call it the Glen Wing of the squirrel cages.
I'm excited. 10 minutes from now, we've got Guillermo showing up.
Guillermo.
He's our guest today, and we'll introduce him when he gets here. And so it's kind of choppy. Producer Dan's not here to make this not choppy. So we'll be stopping the camera and then bringing the couch didn't show up. The chairs showed up that we ordered, but the couch didn't show up. So he's got this nice little folding chair.
It does have padding on it.
Yeah, it does. We're going to cram him in here. It'll be more comfortable than a Venezuelan prison, I bet. Yeah. Yeah, we'll ask him. Yeah. What? Is this more he'll be like, I wasn't between two hefty white gentlemen.
I wonder, Venezuelan prison. I got some serious questions about that. The only thing that's on my mind about that is, like, recently in the news, been the El Salvadorian prison. Like, how does it compare? It'd be interesting if he saw that, and maybe he could tell us how it relates.
Later, we're going to see a producer. We wanted it to be able to put the pictures on a screen, but the screen's not here and the cameras aren't set up. And I don't know if he can hold his phone to show you some of these pictures. I don't know how we'll do this. Maybe later, producer Dan can post some photos.
Probably.
So you guys can see. He showed me these photos, and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It looks pretty bad.
Good grief.
But there are some things that before he gets here, I thought we could discuss, Travis.
Okay.
And the first thing is, I'm going to promote a book that is by Terrell Givens. And some of you are going to tease me. Oh, I thought you were anti-progressive historian. And that's not true at all. I am anti-progressive historians creating a narrative that they act like is for sure when it's not. I'm anti that. Terrell Givens, I've loved some of his books. He wrote The God Who Weeps. Have you read that? Have you heard of that? This guy's way too smart. He's so smart. But this is called The Crucible of Doubt. And I just wanted to get into this a little bit as we talk about the gospel and history that we try to throw into these episodes. Eventually, guys, I promise we'll get into the serious history. But The Crucible of Doubt, he starts his book off talking about the goldsmith for Mary, the Queen of Scots, okay? And again, not an academic, so I'm very sorry if I'm not remembering all the details.
He's talking about who?
The goldsmith, okay? His name was James Mossman. He was the goldsmith to Mary, the Queen of Scots. And we're talking in the 16th century, okay?
Okay.
And Mr. Mossman, James Mossman, he obviously had very valuable things in his office, his house. And he had a door with just a very regular lock. And I want you to imagine an old, 16th century. You just stick a key in this brass plate and turn it, and that's the lock. Well, this guy was a goldsmith, and he was very smart, and he had created a lock that nobody could pick, okay? Nobody could get into this lock. And a lot of people tried. I mean, he's not always home. They didn't have Vivint in the 16th century. They didn't have it. Cameras.
I actually watch, sometimes I see on social media, there's a guy who picks locks on his, like, little reels or whatever.
Yeah.
And I get fascinated with how fast you can pick them and stuff. So that's pretty amazing. You made a lock that couldn't be picked.
Well, so here's why. So no lock could pick this. No key could pick this lock. People were going to mess with it. Nobody ever got in there. And finally, eventually it was shown, and I don't know if this was after his death or whatever. I'm sorry, I didn't just read the book today. But the master key itself wouldn't open the lock. And they're like, what the heck? And so they're looking all around this plate, all in the door, and where the world? And sure enough, finally, they realize that this piece can slide over the lock. There's the real lock. Okay. And the reason I like that he starts the book with this is, how often do we do that in life? We're trying to see something because, hey, our whole lives, what did we know? We knew that a door had a lock.
Yeah.
So, you think about what you've known throughout your whole life, all the experiences, things you've seen, things you've scrolled through, things you've talked about, things your parents taught you, things primary teachers, young men's leaders taught you. Think all these things, and that's who you are now. And how often do we go, why won't this stupid lock open? And what happened is it was a decoy. It was a fake lock. So
smart.
Yeah, it was really smart, and nobody ever got in this thing. Then they talk about, and I should remember their names. The same story continues about Julian of Norwich. Okay, Julian of Norwich. I'm trying to remember the exact story and read the book, but basically she got real sick. Okay, Julian of Norwich, and she was out. I'm guessing it was kind of like Alma the younger. She's just out for days. And during this, she sees explanations of the eternities.
Okay.
And of Christianity. Okay. So it talks about this journey she went on when she came to and could recall all these visions. They didn't coincide with anything that the world knew about Christianity at the time. So for 20 years, she is trying to figure out, how does this all work? The problem was, at the end, she finally realized what it took me a year and a half to realize, or what it takes people in faith crisis to realize. The way that you see the world, that lock, gets in the way of obtaining knowledge and revelation. She would explain it, learning and learning and learning, and never coming to the truth. The truth she received in her visions. The truth. It's funny. We talked about in Come Follow Me, hell. That was one of the things of her visions. She's like, "What? There's no real hell." Like, she really struggled with all this. And then she would read all the Bible and talk to all the experts. Like, who are those guys around Jesus' time that were the experts? What was their names?
The Sadducees, the Pharisees.
Read the Bible all the time, man.
It is kind of funny. I mean, that happens with me. Like, does the devil have horns? Does he have a forked tail? I mean, it's like, even to the point of like, is God got a big white beard? And it's like none of that stuff matters per se. You say yes because you're pro beard. Maybe he's clean shaven now, Glenn.
Yeah, we don't know.
But it doesn't matter. But I think that little things like that can be a huge stumbling block for people.
Well, sure. It's like the pastor that went viral last year, or the last few years, that joined the LDS church. He's like, man, I looked for all these answers, and we'll find it, and I'll link this guy's page. He said, man, we found these answers. Oh, I think he might be here. Here, I'll finish with this. Man, he found these answers. He wanted these things answered for years, and the last place he ever thought to look would be the LDS church. So it's the only place he never searched. And then 2 19-year-old kids that he lets in his house just so he can Bible bash.
Don't let them in.
He goes, okay, can you answer this? And they answered every question. He joined the church a month later. He had his own congregation, big old congregation.
I will say this, Glenn. You gotta be careful because those poor missionaries. Now people are like, I can ask them questions they can't answer, and sometimes they can't.
Yeah, sometimes.
But if you really are seeking,
but the questions this guy had.
Yeah, if you're really seeking though, Trust me,
Yeah.
the Spirit can fulfill
I'm going to pause this. And so again, sorry, this might be choppy. I'm going to see if our guest is here. Okay, so Guillermo's here. He's just sitting there waiting while we finish this segment.
In the green room.
Yeah, he's over in the being prepped. Makeup. He's in makeup.
Makeup. Yeah.
So is this filming? Yeah. So my point with this, woman that had these visions. Again, so this is the Julian of Norwich and this lock in this door. My point is, this can be the biggest obstacle. I brought up to an ex-mo once who just couldn't get over the polygamy stuff. And I'm like, could that be cultural? And he goes, no. And I said, but what if the missionaries showed up in Africa where they're living polygamy and said we were polygamists? What would they say?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we don't care. That sounds awesome. That sounds like
that's
should
what
be.
we do.
So a lot of times, the way we see things because of these prejudices that we come up with. This Julian of Norwich that couldn't put it together that these visions she had coincided with mainstream Christian teachings of in the Dark Ages, like whatever those were, right? But she just couldn't put it together. It took her 20 years to finally conclude, oh, everything I know is wrong, other than there's a Jesus and a Savior. And
yeah.
And this stuff, the visions were the truth.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff like that, Glenn. Even now, when I go to church, I look around and a lot of the stuff we do, the way we start our prayers, maybe the way they kind of follow this formula.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff is culture, and I'm not going to tell my kids to stop doing it. It's the way I was raised, but I also want to detach it from it. That's not the gospel.
Yeah.
And it's not it. The gospel is separate, and it's good, I think, to really always be investigating that. And that's why the prophets tell us: go to the temple, read your scriptures, go to the source material, go talk to God in the temple, and read the scriptures.
Yeah.
And I've never heard them say, "Trust me, bro."
Oh no!
Like,
especially nowadays.
Yeah, especially nowadays. It's like,
hey,
here's the receipts, and so it's. I think it's really important you're bringing up a huge point where it's like that little thing that can block that lock, and we're trying to unlock it. Like, how does this fit with my preconceived notions of what's true and what's not true? I guarantee you this: it's going to get weirder.
Oh, for sure.
When we finally know the nature of God and what it's all about,
we know nothing.
Yeah.
So I always kind of look at, the smartest dudes in the gospel that know all this. They can open to any scripture, and I liken to them to like a 4-year-old, and then I liken guys like me to like a 2-year-old, and then most of the masses are like a week old, man. Like, if they'll just die, they can't walk to get anything, they can't ask for anything. Spiritually, that's where we're at as people, and so when it's all finally opened up to us, we're all going to be like, wait, what?
What?
Yeah. Yeah,
I say that all the time now. I'm like, what?
Yes. I will say this, at the risk of sounding really
rad,
at the risk of sounding really arrogant, I will say there's a lot that I am 100% sure of. When I came out of that 1.5-year battle, and some, once we get enough people that I feel like inspire, like, okay, this can help. But then now there's enough people watching. Someone's going to get helped by this. I'll get into that whole story. But when I came out of it, it was like the Lord rewarded me, okay, to where I was just having conversations. And this is very sacred. So, but that's okay. This is what we're doing. We're doing the Lord's work. So I do fear sometimes maybe one of you listening is a swine and I'm passing pearls before swine. Please don't mock this, okay? But when I came out of it, I'm trying to think of the most reverent way to not, without disclosing too much, I will say I literally felt communication with the Lord. It was a solid couple of weeks where I was just like, oh, saying this, receiving this, literally like a couple of times an actual like voice situation accompanied with the feelings of the Spirit to confirm, so that someday I've wondered why someday I'll recognize that voice. I don't know, but where it was like, hey, you've made it through this trial and now I'm going to reward you. What do you want to know? And much like Julian of Norwich, I had stuff I wanted to know. And I will say that you can know all kinds of things. Um, by the way, I will also say there were answers I was given about the eternities that plain as day. And any of you that have experienced this, you brethren or sisters, the Spirit said, "This is for you only. You
Mm,
don't share this." So there's things I'll just never share. But I mean, things my wife has brought up that I'm like, oh, I know that.
mm,
Let's go to the temple and we'll talk about it in the celestial room. Yes, I know the answer to this or how that's going to be. So I will say, like, don't look at the church as this, like, we can't know everything. So we go by faith only. Brothers, I'm going to testify, you can know a lot. You can be very solid in your testimony. It takes sacrifice, though. It takes a lot of work and sacrifice to where, like, I felt before, like, I'm finally to the point in life. Tell me if you know what I'm saying here. If you feel the same way, I mean, again, you're the smart one. I know you know what I'm saying. Uh, hey, now you know enough that if you screw up, it's going to be really bad for you. Does that make sense to you?
I think so. I mean, because when you have that further light knowledge, I mean, it's true in Spider-Man. Even if it's true in Spider-Man,
Oh, yeah,
too much is given, much is required, and
yeah,
I think that's the case. Now, I will say that back to your analogy, I think it's pretty accurate. You are a 2-year-old,
yeah.
and so you may have some confirmation on that. And I think a lot of times people get caught up in that, like, well, I'm at this level, so now I'm going to be like cast off. I don't think any of us are there,
No,
right? And
there's
so,
some,
yeah,
right? There's a place. That's doctrinal, right? You can get to
yeah,
the point where you know to the point where
yes.
now if you
I just,
deny,
my personal opinion on that, and I don't know
yeah,
if there's any way to really check if I'm right or wrong, but it would take a lot.
I'm going to say you're
Now,
right.
I will say those
That's
special
why you're here.
sacred things.
Yeah,
I think our intent matters, and so
for
if it's
sure.
one of those things that you are like, I have confirmation of that, and then you chose willingly to go away from it, I think that's the bad part, right?
Yeah.
And
There's
maybe it's not the ultimate, like we're talking, like going to outer darkness or anything like that, but it would be a greater sin.
a very difficult thing to overcome,
Hmm.
and it'll be bad for
Me
you.
personally, and
Maybe not eternally,
and
but
on
for a
my
long time.
journey, I don't know if I don't know if this is just because I need to progress further or dig in more, but for me, I believe things. I don't know if it's even stronger to know things or to even say I know things, because when I mean, let's just put it this, maybe this is a better way to say it. It's more dangerous to know things.
Yeah.
And that could be maybe what you're talking about as well.
Uh huh.
As I walk through, is like, all right, well, I know it now, so then one, now I'm at risk of going against it. Number two, someone else might be, maybe I'm basing some of that knowledge on a false premise or a view of my own
Hmm.
eyes, so that can be taken away by someone else. So I'm currently in the place where I just really like to believe, because I feel like it's the strongest thing.
Well, you start with belief.
Yeah.
Was it Jacob? Like the whole thing about how
Mhm.
that progresses. You start with belief. It start with even just the desire to believe,
Yeah.
right? You
Okay,
start with
that's even
that.
first. Yeah.
Sure, you start with that. And so there's a lot of people that are like, I prayed about the Book of Mormon, I didn't get nothing, so I'm going to go do some cocaine and party. Wait, what? Yeah,
That's the
you
obvious
did.
next step,
Did you
Glenn.
want to? Right? Maybe I'm exaggerating.
Yeah.
Maybe they just want to do cocaine and not party. But my point is, did they really want to know? You
You
have to
know,
desire to believe for those. The Book of Mormon calls it, what is it, swelling motions
I will
in
say
your spirit.
I have a good friend that left the church, and then I won't. We can talk to Guillermo, but he left the church, and he told me about his journey, and it honestly was going about the same time as when I was talking to you about yours.
Oh
Now he had a
man,
different outcome. He ended up leaving, but I believe that his intentions were right.
sure.
Um,
I believe a lot of
I
them
don't know
are.
exactly what the difference is, right? It's like, and I'm not, and I don't trying to, I don't want to judge, but I would like to understand, like, what was, the difference, and I think it comes down to like that, what you're talking about, that preconceived notion. Um, we have those things that lock that's blocking the other lock, maybe. We're trying to fit it into a worldview that is just incompatible with it, and so maybe that's it. Where if we aren't willing to sacrifice enough of ourself,
Oh yeah,
then we're never going to arrive to the final destination. So,
yeah. I really like that. Like there's a couple different things we talked about in there. Like I'm talking about to obtain a testimony a little bit, like desire to believe and then believe, and then you're talking about keeping it, nurturing it. Basically, he lost it, right? Again, I've said this in every episode. Nothing but compassion and really knowing what that feeling is when you lose your faith. Uh, really hard. I mean, really, really hard. But this talks about kind of why it happens. He talks about the scriptures are replete with encouragement to question. Ask that you may know the mysteries of God is a common injunction. So the first thing I'm going to say is, do you want to know the mysteries of God, or do you just like not care? Because I'm just telling you right now, there's a lot of Latter-day Saints that would rather go make money than know the mysteries of God. They would rather go on more vacations than know the mysteries of God. They would rather look good to their neighbors than know the mysteries of God. Do you really want to know
That's
the mysteries?
obviously my choice that I've made.
Well, you're a fashionista. You're
Yeah,
a haberdasher.
yeah,
You're way too
for sure.
way too into your
Yeah,
outfits.
my round tummy.
He says the unexamined paradigms with which we begin can negatively affect a healthy propensity to question. In other words, don't be too comfortable into your knowledge, in the things that you think you know, right? And then he says, people will fly to pieces, your friend, what almost happened to me. No, it did. I did fly to
I think you
pieces.
did. Yeah.
People will fly to pieces like glass as soon as anything comes that is contrary to their traditions. So we hold this all this paradigm. No, man, every door, that's the lock. No, these visions can't be from God. I've got a whole life of Christian teaching behind me that is not congruent with these revelations. Uh, how do I keep forgetting the Norwich lady? Okay,
Yeah.
Norwich lady, right? Or whatever, right? So when we lose this, when we by the way, to me, the greatest talk ever given in General Conference was by Ezra Taft Benson. It's the Pride Talk. I think everyone should. I read that once a year. I know right where it is on my bookshelf. There's two books I read once a year besides the Book of Mormon: As a Man Thinketh, James Allen, and the Pride Talk by Ezra Taft Benson.
Hmm.
Because the Pride Talk talks about this: the way you see the world isn't always true. You know, people are like, "Oh my gosh, Joseph Smith was a polygamist. Brigham Young was a polygamist. Oh, these men are evil." And then you go to Africa and you see these villages. Guys, I think polygamy might have been lived more in the world than monogamy. If you add it all up throughout the history of the world, you don't go there and judge people, right? Because it's different, right? So we have this, we fly to pieces like glass as soon as anything comes up contrary to what we think, the way we think things should be.
Yeah.
To me, the greatest example of this, and we're about to talk to a guy from Venezuela. Um, One of the most spiritual moments of my life, and I'm very grateful to Heavenly Father that I've had a couple of handfuls of these experiences. But one of them, I remember I'm walking through the jungles of Paraguay up in the Chaco, 19 years old, out of the United States for, I mean, it had been like a week or a couple weeks or a month or something. I'd been there. And you got to understand, I went to the furthest, most remote area of my mission right when I got there. And president's like, we don't send everybody here. I think you can do it. Whatever compliment that was, right? Within a week, I was really sick, and I just kept it. But I'm out at a hut teaching the Chaparro family the gospel. I'm 19, and I have hiked through this dirt road. We're out in the nowhere, and we're teaching this family in this hut that was made of mud and sticks and corrugated metal type roof mixed. Yeah, half of it, the other half straw. Extreme poverty, extreme poverty. Um, Dirt floor. It's a one room hut, probably about the size of this little studio room we're using. Have divided by a blanket. On this side of the blanket is 7 hammocks over 7 beds, 14 people.
Wow.
Yeah. And then the little sala, the little room where we could sit and talk. and I'm sitting there not knowing how to say very much because
You're brand new.
I'm new, and the candles. Gosh, I remember this just like yesterday. The light, they didn't have electricity. The light from the candles is lighting up. I'm gonna cry. Sorry, man. I'm so sorry. Uh, Lighting up these people's faces. They have nothing. And at that moment, I knew we have everything that these people need. And they're looking longingly. And I remember Mr. Chaparro. I remember the kids, the candlelight flickering on their face, flickering in their eyeballs, and me seeing this life that these people had. And I remember thinking, as a 19-year-old kid, maybe this is how we're supposed to live. Like this.
Yeah.
Where the gospel, there's nothing that would compete with
There's
the gospel.
nothing in the way
Nothing.
of the message.
Nothing in the way. They want what we have. It wasn't money. These people lost a 2-year-old son because they didn't have $20 worth of medicine, okay? You're 19 years old. I ended up giving all my stuff away because I felt bad.
Yeah.
My watch, my ties, everything I
Of
used
course.
to care about was all
Yeah.
gifted. I had nothing within like 4 months of my mission. I'm like, anything nice. I didn't want anything nice, right? But gosh, I remember feeling the love of God. There's no other explanation. The love of God. Before I even had grown my testimony, I knew these people were loved beyond my ability to comprehend, and I was feeling it for them and with them. And the Spirit was so strong, man. And I'm just telling you, I don't care what you read in history. That moment was real. There was no reason for a 19-year-old kid to feel those things.
Yeah.
There's no reason for a 19-year-old kid to be thinking to himself, maybe all the comforts of the world are the problem.
Yeah.
There's no reason, because what we had, you're testifying in my simple broken Spanish, not even knowing what my trainer had said. At one time, going to the other room to get the crying baby in one of the hammocks that was covered with bumps and all these kinds of things. Before we get to Guillermo, I'll tell you this family, guys. Then we were, that baby got worse and worse. This one lived, and I had got a new companion named Juan Parente who he told me when I said, "What's your spiritual gifts?" Because we had a zone conference about it. He goes, "The gift of healing," just all calm, just like that. And I'm like, that's weird. Anyway, he healed 3 people in my area right in front of me. So all you people who think all that stuff's not real, I'm talking like I was introduced to New Testament style miracles right in front of my face. And that little baby covered with those bumps and boils the next day looked brand spanking perfect, like an American kid, all healed. We had villagers following us around, telling us their maladies. And
Wow.
I'm 19 years old going, so why can't you heal these guys? I didn't know anything. And
That's
he's
a lot
like,
of pressure.
it doesn't work that way. It doesn't work that way.
Hmm.
And he tells me, when moved upon by the Spirit, I can heal whoever the Lord wants me to heal. And he did a couple times in front of me, and that was his spiritual gift. I mean, it was crazy.
That is wild.
Yeah, it was wild. So, seeing those things again, I get emotional when I talk about that I have been through a faith crisis because I am so ashamed after everything the Lord showed me and all the miracles and all the experiences to get to a point where I could forsake that. I take full responsibility. I take all the blame, man. I failed some tests, probably watching shows that drove the Spirit away.
I want to get to Guillermo, but I want to ask you one question.
Yeah, no.
I want to ask you one question. Like, so how did you rationalize, because you still remembered that experience.
Yes.
So when you were in your faith crisis and you're, I guess on my mission, we called them apostates. You're going apostate.
I was apostate.
You're apostate, but I remember you drink coffee.
Oh, yeah.
It was pretty bad.
I was like, dude, church isn't true, and I love coffee.
But I shouldn't joke because I really want to know, like, what did you tell yourself while you were, like, I had this experience. Now I know that it's not true.
Yeah.
So what was it when you were doubting?
What saved me was knowing that those things were true. And you couldn't deny my prayers to God were, why are you involved in a church that's a fake?
So you were actually like, God's still real, but the church isn't true. And that really happened. But why would you do it for a Mormon?
Yeah. So the place I'd come before I had worked through it all was, so it doesn't matter what religion you are. God doesn't care. And if you're out trying to help people grow closer to God,
So
the religion doesn't matter. That's the point I'd come to. And I hear Expos talk about this all the time. Your religion doesn't matter.
yeah.
Now, what that did was put me in a spot where I was thinking like Joseph Smith, though. And I'm like, well, Christ organized a church. I've read the New Testament.
So there has to be
There
one.
has to be. It's gone then. It's not, you know.
I just think it's interesting, and I wanted to highlight that us as humans are able to justify anything.
Oh, sure.
We'll rationalize anything.
No, but I knew God was involved, dude. I knew He was.
Okay.
And it didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense. I'm
Okay.
like, why? Because to me also, and this is something for you guys to mull over, to me, if there's any church He wouldn't be involved with, that it would be this one. To me, the LDS Church would be the most blasphemous of all.
Yeah.
We're the ones saying
we have some big claims.
we're the ones that are like, we have the authority.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, to me, this is the one that God would be like, no, especially if all the crazy progressive history were to be true,
all in,
which it's not,
or all out.
But especially all that crap, God would not be giving all these people who married the prophet,
mm-hmm.
polygamous wives, whatever. He wouldn't be giving us as members these outpouring of the Spirit. He would be making us feel like crap. And then whenever we heard any other preacher, because the church doesn't matter, we'd be feeling that. So no, that's why to me, I'm like, this makes no sense. The church is true. I did work through it, and I'm more than happy to meet with anybody. Joseph Smith was a prophet of God. He restored the church. But yeah, that's a place where, if I think about this was my fear. And Guillermo, see what you think about this too. With my kids, like, so once you've been through a faith crisis, you're like, and you come out of it, you're like, dude, have my kids had those experiences that at least I could look back and go, well, I know God was involved. Mm-hmm. Guys, serve in the church. Even just have the desire to believe and have the experiences to where at least you could say that, right? But for those of us who haven't done anything, and we fake our LDS membership, we go to church and we even share a testimony or we teach our class, but then that's it. We're not seeking the mysteries of God like this man said, Terrell Givens said. We're not all in. Man, as soon as a faith crisis comes, I'm surprised more people aren't gone. You know, so yeah, serve, put yourself out there, so that you can rely on something. I testify to you, if you serve your fellow man, you will feel the Spirit and you will have spiritual experiences, period. I don't care if you're drinking beer for breakfast and coffee for dinner and you're watching R-rated movies every day. If you are serving your fellow man, you are only in the service of your God, you will feel God. Serve your fellow man. Get out there and serve. Then you'll all of a sudden have the strength to not drink beer for breakfast. Then you'll all of a sudden have the strength to get off your coffee. Then you'll have the strength to turn the movie off when it gets inappropriate. Then you'll have the strength to do other things that give you more powerful experiences. And it's laid out in the Book of Mormon. The swelling motions begin. You get more and more strong to the point where now you're in a world where the prophet says what? We talk about it every week. Better read your Book of Mormon every day.
Yeah.
You're to the point now where you can be led astray. So that's the stuff I wanted to get into, this paradigm, your history. Read this book if you, if you want to borrow mine and you're in the Orem area.
Well, let's transition. Let's get Guillermo.
We're gonna
load it up. We'll
to Guillermo.
push pause maybe and
let's do an intro to Guillermo. So I think I said a little bit last time. I don't remember. Guillermo is a guy that works at a bank. We're going to keep that confidential, which one it is. We sold him a car at the dealership. I hadn't met him, but my salesman told me a little bit about him. So when Guillermo showed up to the office, I said, hey, I like to hear, due to my political leanings, what happened in Venezuela.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. I've talked to, in the last year, 30 Venezuelans about politics. Some in Miami when I was in Miami. It's interesting. A lot of the sound bites from the party that I don't adhere to sound a lot like what was told to them before their whole country collapsed. Guys, Venezuela was one of the richest countries on this side of the world. The per capita standard of living was better than the United States almost. I mean, it was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was a ton of money. They were living better than Canadians. They had more money per capita than Canada. And they decided to decry all the evil rich people and oil companies and everything and destroy that country. And so I wanted to talk to him. Dude, tell me about your experience in Venezuela. And you're going to hear about his experience with the corrupt government in Venezuela. And we're going to get into those details because we're interested in it, Guillermo. We're very interested in it. You mentioned to me at one point that you picked up a Bible when you were in prison. We want to hear that. We're going to ask questions. And then I asked how he ended up in Utah, and your girlfriend was here or something. He's going to tell the details of this. And I said, well, do you know why you're here yet? I think you're here to find the gospel of Jesus Christ. And Guillermo says, oh, are you LDS? Yeah, well, I'm getting baptized Saturday. So awesome. And I would have dropped anything. I have one meeting a year I can't miss. It's an investor meeting, and I had to go. And I was bummed to miss your baptism, but I want to hear all about it. So we're going to pause this. Poor Guillermo, our studio's not done yet. The couch hasn't come. So we want you to tell us if being sandwiched between two fat white guys on this little chair is more comfortable or less comfortable than a Venezuelan prison. Okay? We don't even need to pause it.
Okay.
Just come on over, Guillermo. Yeah, we can move these chairs. We'll get this figured out.
Yeah, man. Good to see you.
Yeah, so glad you came.
I'm already against the wall, I think, so.
That's fine.
Let's see how uncomfortable we can make Guillermo. Move in, Trav. Let's really sandwich him.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's cozy.
This is cozy.
It's cold outside.
Yeah, it is cold.
It's cold. Yeah.
Wasn't it a weird day? It was like I woke up to a crazy snowstorm, and then it kind of got a little better. And then I'm out working on cars in the sun and I have to take my coat off. And then I go into my office without my coat and had left it. And then I go out and it's snowing again. And it's a weird day.
Yeah.
Happy spring break, kids.
Yeah.
I hope you're enjoying spring break. This terrible weather.
Here in Utah is completely different for sure.
Yeah.
Completely different.
What was the weather like in Venezuela?
Most of the time it's tropical weather. I will say around 80, 85 degrees here most of the year. So it's pretty cool.
Sounds nice.
20
Sounds
minutes.
pretty
That sounds pretty good.
My house at the beach is 20 minutes, 30 minutes.
Oh,
traffic.
wow.
Yep. We spend 40 minutes coming from home to work. So
Yeah, yeah.
What did you do in Venezuela? Give us a little background. Maybe even like.
Tell us where you grew up.
Yeah. About your childhood.
What town were you in?
Up through.
By the way, eventually I will be spiritually strong enough to quit these. Okay?
At some point.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up in Caracas, Venezuela. It's the capital of my country. Just a basic family, nothing crazy. Just a public worker. My dad, he was for the subway, the Caracas subway. My mom was just from home, just stay-at-home mom.
How many siblings do you have?
Yeah, just one brother.
One brother?
He's younger than me. He's 28. He's 26 right now.
Can you still beat him
Nothing too
up?
crazy. Yes.
Okay, good.
Did you play sports or anything like that?
Of course. Yeah. We
Probably football?
Football?
Soccer.
Yeah.
Soccer.
Yeah.
I will say like a really nice childhood in general. Nothing to regret to my parents. Actually, thanks to them, I travel a lot,
Mm.
and I had the chance to know at least I think 5 or 6 countries. Every vacation that we went, just out of the country, and
Where was your favorite
That's
place?
kind of interesting. A subway worker with a stay-at-home mom, and they're able to
Telling
go
you,
and
Venezuela
travel.
was living large.
That's
Where
pretty
did you
amazing.
go on vacation? What was your favorite spot?
Usually
Paraguay?
we're a beach. We're a beach family.
Beach,
so
yes, I
we
love it.
always go to beach like Dominican Republic, Cancun, Aruba, Curacao, all these islands in the Caribbean.
Nice.
Went to Argentina also, and that was my first contact with snow.
Argentina. In
Yeah,
Argentina?
in Argentina. In Venezuela, we have a state, is Merida state, and there's snow there, but just very random in the year. Just
Yeah.
hey, there's snow today, and just in the peak of the mountain.
Gotcha.
Merida's in Mexico. What does that mean? What's the translation of Merida? Like, there's every country has like a Merida. I don't know what it means. We're gonna look that up.
Yeah, we
I think there is a Greek. There's like a Greek goddess. I believe it's Merida.
Merida.
probably we call it there, or it's known in Venezuela as the city of the gentleman. Basically,
Oh.
there's really cool people. Actually, the family for my mom's side, they're from Merida, Venezuela, and yeah, that's the only state that we have snow pretty much. So that was my first contact with snow. Actually, like waking up, watching outside.
What was that
there's
like?
Snow here. It's
Just
pretty
That was
nice.
great. You liked it?
Different, yeah.
Oh,
I like it. Now I hate it.
yeah, for sure. I'm
Sure,
with
the
you.
first time,
Yeah.
awesome.
Let's go back to those beaches, though. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course. So
How long have you been in the United States?
I've been here in the United States for 2.5 years. In August will be 3 years.
When did you start learning English? Because I noticed that you like have very little accent, but sometimes it even goes into an American
He
accent.
does really well, right? How did you
Yeah.
grow up? Did you learn English when you were a kid, or just once you got to the
Yeah,
States?
I learned English thanks to my dad, basically.
Oh,
Just
good.
growing with this 90s and 80s, 70s music,
Yeah.
like Beatles, Bee
Okay.
Gees,
Oh, nice.
all these bands, 80s bands.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
So yeah, and he likes to watch the movies with the original language,
Okay.
basically, and with the subtitles, because he said, "Oh no, the sound of the movies is better."
Yeah.
Stuff like
Yeah.
that.
My friend Pablo Godoy says he learned English just watching
Ghostbusters.
and Ghostbusters. Just watching with the subtitles,
Yeah.
and he'd read it and then listen to them, and
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's cool.
what I did. And
So you did that your whole
this is,
childhood.
my whole life, basically. Most of the people ask me, "Hey, how do you learn English?" Like, I don't know, man. I've just been learning 28 years old.
Good
Gotcha.
job.
So far.
It's hard.
And I think my accent, kind of my English accent, is because I'm living in Utah.
Yeah.
And I will learn how to say mountain.
No T.
Mountain.
That's really good. That's got.
Yeah, that is good.
It's probably gonna be a spy sometime. You can
Yeah.
just go be
Yeah.
undercover.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is crazy. And thanks to basically that, just learning every day, I faced English in my country just a couple times. Like working actually, I was into the military academy, let's say here, like West Point, kind of the officer school. Nothing too big in there, but after that, I just graduated as an air traffic controller. So that was my profession actually. After
So how old are you now?
I'm 28. Right
No, they need
Oh, you're
some of
28,
those. They
okay.
need air
I
traffic
thought you were
controllers.
younger. So do you remember when the government collapsed then? Well, how old were you? Like
Yeah, I
16?
was like 17. Well, the government has been in this kind of collapse direction since Hugo Chavez or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Chavez.
I mean, you grew as a child. It sounds
As a
like
child,
you grew up
he
in
was the
prosperity.
president. Yes,
And then
he
it
was
kinda-
there.
Oh, he was okay.
Yeah, he was
Well, he
Then
made
it was-
it. He made it kind of take off because
Yeah,
he kind of took everything and then gave it away
yeah.
Correct.
until it ran away.
Yeah, until it was dried up.
Yeah, thanks to that guy, I kind of my childhood was like
Awesome.
going fine. I mean, I think it was the last of the good times of Venezuela, right, in my childhood, and then just went down.
Ah,
About what age you remember it?
I
Like
was
17,
yeah,
you're saying?
I
Yeah.
was 17. It was in 2014, actually, when even in my family, we were not rich. We were not like this
mhm.
very rich family, but we were very humble and even humble. We were able to go on trips and stuff
Sure.
like that and have good dinners and go to restaurants and
Mhm.
stuff. So in 2014, when Nicolas Maduro, the actual president or whatever the dictator,
The current leader,
the
the
guy,
current.
Yeah.
that guy,
The Hillary Clinton of Venezuela.
the
No,
demon
no.
right now is there. Yeah, unfortunately. And 2014, I was in the academy, and as a military, you feel that. I mean, we were
Mandatory service, right? Like,
no, it was.
Oh, it wasn't.
He was officer, like West Point,
Oh, wow.
West Point, yeah.
like the high end.
Okay.
Yeah. So part of your what you learn in there, right, is leadership and stuff like that. Because you'll be a leader with the soldiers and everything, and just watching the country just going down, and you're not able to do anything because the government just control you.
Yeah.
And as I know, and you guys, I think it's the same in here. The militaries, they just own their service to their country and protect their country. I mean, your country in this case. And when that start to mix, like the politics and the militaries and the general is now in charge of one government chair or whatever, and that's when the things start to be crazy. And
Like, who do I follow? Do I follow this general that's kind of
Yeah, you don't know
rebelling?
what to do. Yeah.
Am I a rebel or am I a patriot? What am I?
Yeah. So if you're a general, basically you are in a good standing there. You have good, nice cars.
We'll take care of you.
Everything. But then when you're in the low rank, it's completely different, right? Even here in a nice country where you have everything, it is you can notice the big difference in there. So 2014 is when everything started. I don't even have to buy deodorant for myself. We have to make some this large lines. Just wake up at 3 a.m. and make this large line to go to the bakery store and buy some like I remember it was like two little breads for each member of your family. And in Venezuela, it's kind of
How did you pay for that? Was that
uh,
government supplied?
no, it was like for our money, basically my dad's or my mom's money. But just like I say, every time, every day, every year, everything will go down. Salary,
It's getting
payments,
worse
because
and
I was
worse.
able to buy before, for example, let's say 1 pound of meat. At this point, we were not able to, not even half pound, not even a
Yeah.
quarter of a pound.
When you grew up and in these times of your life, was your family religious at all? Were your parents Catholic? Were they Catholic or?
Yeah, they were
And
Catholic.
did you go to church? Did they ever take you to church or?
Yeah, well, I grew up in a Catholic family, nothing too religious,
Yeah,
let's say. Nothing, yeah, nothing too crazy.
just traditional
Just
Catholics.
traditional, yeah, pretty
Yeah.
much like
Okay.
most of them.
Sure.
We're just going to the church. Well, I used to go to the church or to these temples and go
Yeah.
to the actual work of the church itself when my family members were getting married. So because after
Or
that, the party comes.
Sure. Yeah.
or
Big
yeah,
festival
Yeah,
after
it
that.
was like that.
fiesta.
When I was a kid, for sure, maybe with my grandpa, he'd just take us to some of these temples and
Mm-hmm.
Eastern, and we call it like Holy Week, Semana Santa. That's how we
Mhm.
call it. And yeah, but just that, nothing
Was
too
that a part?
crazy.
Was that a party week?
Yeah,
Is
pretty
that like
much.
Carnival?
That's enough week.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
always enough week.
Everyone just has fun, and
Yep, everything.
they'd lock us up that week on our
Yeah.
mission. Don't go out this week.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's like don't go out. Oh, okay.
Yeah, then go out because
This is just
people
nothing but
start getting
craziness. Yeah.
crazy, and yeah, it's just a party thing. I think it's Latin America culture basically, and yeah, that gets wild.
In a lot of ways, it's a beautiful culture, Latin America.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
just
it
I
is.
love it. I love. I mean, it's. I feel like it's an indictment on our country how loyal family is down there. There's no old people in rest homes, man. They wouldn't even think about. They think we're animals for putting our grandparents or whatever. They're like, dude, why wouldn't you take care of your elderly? They got nothing, and they're taking care of their families. A lot of it is just beautiful culture.
Yeah, which is
So
that
yeah,
doesn't exist. I don't even know any places. I don't have
yeah,
nothing come to my mind. Any
yeah,
places for sure they are, but nothing comes
yeah.
to
They're
my mind.
here in America. They're all just in some high dollar rest home, and kids visit them once a week or once a month, and they're just lonely with a bunch of people that have Alzheimer's. So
Yeah.
it's a really sad, sad life for the elderly in America, I think.
Yeah, that's part of my thoughts. I was listening to you guys here, and I was thinking the poorest people they are outside. I mean, other countries outside from the United States, and we try to look or yeah seek of God, or we're trying to look for God or read the scriptures, the Bible, whatever religion. It's just because we're missing something. You know, we're missing food in our tables. We're missing uh, ceiling. We're missing something. We're always something missing. We're always missing something. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
And here, it's crazy to see how you're able to have everything you want. You're
it's a
not-
problem.
Yeah, I mean, you have
It's
everything
it's a
here.
it's a spiritual problem.
You have everything here.
Yeah.
And it's crazy how most of the people, I will say, most of the people don't like or don't want to follow any, at least talk with God. Just
Yeah.
do a conversation with Him by yourself. Most of the people don't do that here.
Well, they've got
That's
15 shows that they want to binge watch on Netflix and Amazon.
Yeah.
So they don't have time for that. That's a lot of shows.
Yeah, of course.
I mean, it really is.
It's a lot of shows.
Well, I think that's a cool to hear
Yeah.
you say that.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the fact that there's people actually looking from God, even when you guys have everything here, that's a nice thing. That's one of the things that kind of likes me from LDS church, because even
It does what? It lags. What does that mean?
like,
Lags.
no, kind of
that you like.
what
Yeah,
like
that he
me
likes.
from the
That you
LDS
like.
church
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
is the fact that a lot of families, at least from where I live, so I talk about Eagle Mountain, I see a lot of families with super nice cars and big houses, and they have everything. I will say everything. At least
Yeah.
to
That used to be
maintain
where all the
everything.
trashy people lived.
Yeah, and yeah, just to see the fact that they go to the church all in family, and I
Cool.
love that. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's cool. I love it.
Yeah, that's really good insight. Um,
I want to
Yeah.
let them finish. So you were in the military. Everything starts going downhill. You're going to be an
he
officer.
graduated from air traffic control school.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
you got that job. And is this where things went south?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I want to.
Yeah,
Yeah.
tell us about that. Yeah.
I was in that was in 2020, just right before the pandemic.
COVID.
Yeah, COVID. I was working there just a normal day, and I was on.
So you're working as an air traffic controller.
Yes, I was working in the main airport.
Why don't you tell everyone what Venezuela paid you to be an air traffic controller? Let's hear. What did you make per month?
I don't remember exactly. I think I told you maybe around an amount, but I will say around when I was working there with bonuses and like it was the best guy paid ever. And that moment in Venezuela, it was like $50 a month.
Yeah.
$50
So
a month.
is it realistic? I have a kid that I rented to one of our
That is wild.
he said that he would work full time, and his pay after a full weeks of work was that they'd give him a chicken. Is that?
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So you're making $50.
Oh,
That's a dang good job.
Yeah.
So he's prideful, probably.
Yeah. You're like,
They used to pay us
you're like, you just, yeah.
even with $50, and they don't give us the money, but they just give us chicken and rice.
So you got paid in kind. You didn't get
Yes.
money.
No.
You got.
I was getting like $50, yes, in my bank account. But in Bolivar,
But they'd also feed you and stuff.
yeah.
So
And
you're $12.50 a week, plus you get to eat, so you don't have to spend that.
correct.
Okay.
Yes.
And you probably take that home to your family and help them.
Correct. Yeah. And at that point, I was like a really nice paid employee.
Yeah.
It was like the super top. I had the best.
Sure, that's an important
That's a
job.
great gig. Yeah, you can't lose that job, right?
Most of the people there, they don't even have like just a teacher. Let's say a teacher, doctor. They just got paid right now. Like the basic wage, the salary is like I will say $5-6 a month. That's why the government, like standard, like Utah.
So there's really good medical care there right now.
Yep. Yep.
I could probably get a surgery for
Yep.
pretty cheap in Venezuela, right?
Pretty much, yeah. So it's crazy. So everybody has to make 2, 3, 4 jobs in there.
Yeah.
So just like here, it depends, but just like we were talking before, when you work in here, you have 2, 3 jobs. You see the effort from what you did. You see the money. So
see
I
your
want
reward.
to buy that shoes, for example. And okay, how much it costs? $300. I don't have that. Okay, so you work in Wendy's or whatever place, and
Yeah.
you go and buy those shoes in a week.
If you work at Curtis Auto, you get these Avias from Walmart. These are a good deal.
Yeah.
So that's our first paid sponsor, Avia. I don't even know if I'm saying it right. And
I think it's Avia.
it's
Clyde Drexler. They were
it's
Clyde,
athletes.
Clyde Drexler was sponsored by Avia.
Oh yeah. Clyde the Glide.
Yeah.
So when did this go bad? You got a text or something from?
I was
Tell
just
us
working.
what happened.
I was just working that day, very normal. And this guy who was studying with me when I was in the military academy, this guy just texted me. He just quit when we were in the second year or something. We studied 4 years to become an officer. So he just quit in the second year, and I never just see him again or anything, any contact, anything. He just suddenly sent me from Facebook Messenger. He just sent me, "Hey man, how you doing? How's life?" Just like a random guy that you knew, and then just he suddenly texts you. Nothing weird with that. He's like, "Oh, give me your phone number." "Oh, sure, man." I pass in my phone number, and then by WhatsApp, because we use WhatsApp to kind of text and stuff. He started like offering, "Hey, are you working in the control tower?" "Yeah." "Why?" "Oh no, it's because I have a deal for you." And I was like, "What type of deal?" Like, are you interested? Like, well, it depends. And in my mind, it comes this, I don't know. I was just starting with my air traffic controller life or my career, basically. And the Venezuela, the whole situation, economic and politic, whatever. I just even thought, in my innocence, I was thinking that it was something like, hey, let's make a deal. I don't know. Let's buy a cow and let's kill it and
Have some beef.
beef or
yeah,
something. Yeah.
so whatever. I was thinking whatever thing. And then this guy just, oh well, no. The thing is, were you able to leave to authorize some airplanes to taking off from the airport without authorization,
Wow.
Oh
just
man.
like that? And I was not working in, I don't know, in Provo Airport or
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wendover Airport. I
This was in
not working
Caracas,
there.
right?
It was
It
big.
was the main airport from Venezuela. And this guy's like, okay, no, bro, I'm not gonna do that. He kind of offered me like, are you able to leave some black cars taking off without authorization? Like, I was thinking an actual black car, but in Spanish, what he wants to say at that point is, will you allow, like, the black side, not
Black market.
black market, like
Yeah, illegal cars,
boxes,
traffic.
yes,
Oh
whatever.
wow.
I don't know at this point what on those airplanes it's gonna be like guns, drugs,
Sure.
whatever kind of thing. People even.
But what you do know is you can't lose this job.
Correct.
Yeah.
$50 a month.
Yeah, you
that's
can't
for
lose
sure.
it. Yeah,
But
like
this guy just, oh come on, man, just insisting one and another one and another one, and that wasn't a fraction of 30 minutes, maybe an hour. He kind of insist and insist, and I just like, okay, no, bro, I'm not gonna do this. Okay, I will put $40,000
Whoa.
from each airplane that you allow to take off. $40,000. I can put that into a bank account wherever you want, whatever you tell me. I can put that in cash. I can put that wherever you want. I can buy you a car, stuff like
now
that.
are we talking 40,000
US dollars.
you oh my gosh, and you're tempted for sure, dude.
Just for one airplane. And he
You
would
live
tell
the
me,
rest of
like,
your life on that.
Yep.
$50 a
He
week.
told me
Oh my
like
gosh.
one or two flights per week. And I was like, no. And what the fact that I really love about my story and everything is I never even thinking about take that money.
Oh, you're a better guy than me.
Yeah, that's what.
Which you're gonna learn that doesn't take a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing math, right? 40,000, let's say 80,000 two flights per week. That's $3.8 million a year. So that's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot. Maybe
Oh, yeah.
maybe with
That's a lot in America.
Yeah, that's a lot here.
that's a
Yeah.
lot here. So even I say, hey man, just please stop texting me. I'm not interested in this. Please stop. I don't want to let my supervisors or my bosses know. Just please stop.
Well, and you don't know if someone's like framing you,
Yeah,
if they're testing you.
exactly.
Yeah, you don't know. Oh wow.
That was why he kind of still insisted and insisted. It's like, okay, I just stopped the conversation with him and let my supervisor and my bosses, every managers, everybody. So that was like,
You told
yeah,
people.
I told them, it's like, hey, this is happening. Here's a
You're
conversation.
protecting
I
your
don't want
job.
anything to
Yeah,
do.
you don't want any to lose
Yeah,
your job.
I'm not
Yeah.
doing anything weird.
It's kind of wild that you have a cell phone and it works and you're making $50 a month.
Goes to show we're
It's just
getting
a weird-
ripped off here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
I pay Verizon
How much were you paying for your
$50 a
cell
month.
phone?
I pay, well, it's already paid off, but I still paying for my mom's and my dad's phone.
No, in Venezuela.
Oh, in Venezuela,
Couple bucks or something.
yeah, it was pretty much nothing. Right now, I don't know how much is right now, but it was pretty much nothing.
Gotcha.
Pretty much
So
nothing.
so now you've been pressured a couple of times. You're getting reached out to again. You talked to the supervisor.
Yeah.
What was his advice to you?
Well, it just let's just pass this to our managers. And
He's like, he had a,
his boss.
He's like, I don't want to look at
I'm
it
not
either.
okay with this. Yeah. And
he's looking at text on his phone.
Yeah. You go talk to someone else. So you go to the top guys and they
yeah,
tell you
it's the
what.
Tough guys, and they just just don't talk with him anymore. We'll take care of that.
So just ignore him. Ghost
Ignore
him.
him. And I was keeping that conversation on my phone, just in
Smart.
case that something happens, or because I knew like, okay, I just let you guys know this, and then I just suddenly
Yeah.
delete everything. So 3 months exactly later, like that was on February 20th, 2020. On May 20th, 2020, the intelligence, like the police, the like let's say the CIA from here,
Hmm.
you probably if that happens here, you will probably expect to I don't know the Orem police,
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
It'd
Some
probably be the
police or
FBI.
Like the FBI.
It'd be
or something,
FBI, yeah.
or DEA because drugs, something
Maybe.
in the airport,
Mhm.
right? But not the CIA, not the DHC. We call it there. It's like counterintelligence,
Hmm.
counterintelligence, whatever. Um, these guys went there, and hey, Guillermo, let's go to an interview.
Where did they go? To your work or to your
I
house?
was working. I was working.
Okay, they went to your work. Okay.
Yeah, 3 months exactly later. They went there. Let's go to an interview. It's like, okay. I mean, it was weird for me at the first moment because, just like I said, I was expecting to someone else, whatever other police, not that one specifically. And they're known in Venezuela.
He makes it sound so innocent. All these guys roll up and they're like, "Hey, Guillermo, let's go to an interview."
Yeah, let's go have a little interview, buddy.
Yeah, let's go and talk.
Let's go.
And yeah, everything was so crazy at that point. They just treated me really good at that moment. Nothing to worry about. Nothing to think. Oh, this weird thing is happening. But then I just get to the main building from them, intelligence building, and in that building we know it because there's a lot of torture. They torture people there, and a lot of crazy things. There's people who
The building you don't want to go to.
Yes, they kill people there.
Put this on your. I just realized.
Oh yeah, I just realized. I hope they can hear this.
Probably
We'll see. Yeah, I forgot about the mic situation.
that works. Okay, so I went to this
You
building.
might have to come back next week if we botch this.
I'm here. I work here.
Okay, cool.
I went to this building and they just grabbed my phone and it was like, "Hey, I can unblock this for you." No. We deal with that. Okay. And after that, they just, "Okay, come with us." They just take me from a large hall and then just go there. And it was like a little cell. It was like a little cell, nothing too crazy. No one was inside. Just lit like half of this.
What is
This was a
going through
cell.
your mind right now?
At that point I started thinking, okay, this is weird, and more and more when you know what happens in that place. I just get inside, and just because the guy just go inside when I ask why, okay, but why I'm going inside, and he's like, go before I hit you, but with this like really bad behaviors, like go before I knock you or whatever.
Yeah.
And just because I knew, it's like, okay, I'm getting inside. I get inside and just wait for 2 days. 2 days in there without knowing anything. No talk with my lawyers. No phone call. Not like the movies in here that you got in prison and hey, you have the right to call and stuff. Nothing like that. 2 days there, and they just take me to the court. And on the court, they just assign me a public, let's say, lawyer, defender,
yeah.
public defender, and it was the whole.
And that guy probably made like $60 a month. So you got a good one.
No, not even that. Not even that.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
even that.
He's a pawn for the government, basically,
Yep,
right? He doesn't
yeah.
care about you.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I just went there, and without anything to do or anything to say, it was a judge in front of me, and the curious thing, all these judges and the attorneys and lawyers, all these people inside of the courtroom, they were all the same ones that they put in prison. These people, all the political prisoners, all these big cases in Venezuela or whatever cases, politics. It is the same judge, same people, same process, same everything.
So the previous government had arrested these people, and now they're trying you.
I don't know. I mean, they were just there doing what they supposed to do. They are just following instructions. That's the main word for them. That's the main sentence.
You're saying these same people were the ones that judged the other people and put them in prison, or you're saying that these people ended up going to prison?
No,
Talk loud.
like everybody in the room, the judge, attorney, everybody, like whoever was involved in the court side,
Yeah.
they were with the government side.
Yes.
So they basically, it was all prepared. It was everything like done for you. You just go there. They just read your rights or anything, and they don't read anything. They're just like, okay, you're going to prison because
And you're
we
just
say
what are you you're just crapping your pants, right? You're
at that
wait,
point,
this is
yes.
an extra mo show.
And
You are
that's
nervous is
yeah.
the way to say this on a
and
LDS podcast.
and that's what I hear for the first time. The word, or what I actually feel that word inside of me when they say you are accused for terrorism.
Oh,
It was
my
like,
goodness.
what? Terrorism?
Yeah.
And then they just put me the 3 felonies, charges, whatever. It was terrorism. I will say association to commit crimes. That was the other one.
Okay,
Like
I give you
disclosure.
attention to.
Yes.
Okay.
Like disclosure, confidential information. That was the other one.
Oh wow.
And then the last one, it is pretty fun. It's like talking. I will say this, like talking bad about the president. That's a felony there. So yeah, you don't have rights. You don't have.
Were you guilty of that one?
I was.
You were.
Yeah, you were guilty of that.
At least you're guilty of something.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was guilty on that one. Because yes, I mean, it wasn't disagree with the government, and I don't like the government.
Yeah, remember the good old days when we went on vacation?
Yeah, it wasn't disagree with the government.
Yeah.
With the government. Nothing. I mean, nothing to do anything like extreme or like try to take them out from the power or anything. No, I was just a normal citizen,
just
like you
saying.
guys here. You like it or you
Well,
don't like it.
in Germany, I mean, this is how the Nazis had, the people that would speak out against Hitler. They're just gone. They're just missing the next day.
Yeah.
And they weren't trying to overthrow him. So now you're in prison.
Yeah.
Now you're in prison. And how long were you in prison total?
I was there for 2 years and 23 days in total from 2020.
And it's pretty nice prison. It sounds like it's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's
kind of a white color.
Yeah.
The folding chairs had pads on them. No,
Yeah.
no.
This one here.
Dude, so we can we don't have the image, but do you have the picture on your phone of this prison? We're doing this ghetto today. We don't have producer Dan. You haven't met producer Dan. He's like the guy that will make this look awesome. But I'm just gonna hold this picture up to this camera so you guys can see this posh room that this kid.
You get a picture of it.
Was it?
That's crazy. That's crazy. Because I was in 2 different prisons, right? And from the 2 years, it was the first year in the intelligence prison where I hear people being tortured and screams and.
You're wondering when your turn is. You're just nervous.
Yes,
Oh my
they don't do anything to me like any physical thing to me, because I mean that will be like, oh my god, that's crazy. At least the people who they were torturing, they were kind of involved or not in these military actions against the government, and they kind of. I mean, I'm not saying it's fair, but it will be crazy if they do that to me when I was doing anything.
Yeah, you don't have any information. They know you don't have any information.
Of course.
Yeah,
But what was super crazy for me, and I remember this, there is a guy, his last name is Rangel, and he was from, I think, in Merida, actually, from that town in Venezuela. And I just listened how they torture him, right, for 1 or 2 nights right in there. He was a sergeant from the honor guard from the president, whatever, how they call it. And this guy, after they just pass through all the torture and stuff, they put him into my cell when I was sharing my cell with 18 more people. All the people there, nice people. Most of them, I will say, they still there in prison unfairly. Most of the people there, engineers, militaries, colonels, generals, air traffic controllers.
They feed you. I mean, obviously, you eat something. You eat once a day, twice a day.
In that prison, I will say the food was fine. 3 meals a day, pretty nice food. But you were in that position, that place.
Yeah.
So
you're saying you got transferred from this prison to another one?
Yes.
So how long were you in the nice one?
The nice one that was actually the really bad one, I will say, because I mean, this guy, I just helped him to heal his bruises and his
Torture.
cuts and torture marks and everything,
Oh, wow.
and help him how to go to the bathroom again because he was not able to just sit himself in a toilet, and all bruised, the legs, everything. It's crazy. And just like that, a lot of people just pass through that same situation, and that was kind of our day to day. You wake up in the morning, then I hear some screams last night, and then next morning it was a guy, all like just weak and
Yeah.
just right there on the floor, and yeah, I mean you're not able to do anything. I spent there almost 3 months. I spent 81 days without seeing the sunlight. I was in a basement, kind of a basement. They call it like the dream house, or in Spanish, la casa de los sueños. Because the only thing that you can do in the only thing that you can make in there is just dreams or sleep. Because there's anything else to do, and that kind of gets the people crazy, and
Sure.
they're all locked, no sunlight, no phone calls, no anything. When everything started, until I actually made my first legal from phone call, passed around 4 months, 4.5 months, and my first legal visit, it was my dad and my lawyer. It was at the 5th month. So yeah, 5 months without see anyone, and
And you
nothing
went
crazy.
to prison for 5 months, and you went to work one day, and then taken straight from there to prison, and never contacted your parents.
Never
And your
since
mother
the
must have
day.
been going
Yep.
insane.
Wow.
Yeah, they kind of know because my coworkers in the
Yeah.
control tower, they're okay. These guys take Guillermo to whatever place. I don't
Had
know.
you
So
told your parents about the texts you'd been getting?
yeah.
Oh, so they knew.
I let them know on that same day
Mm.
after everything happened. I went out of GAR that day. I went to home, and hey, this happened to me just in case something happens, someone asks you, so yes, I do have something to say. But yeah, they were aware of everything pretty much the whole time, and it's crazy how just you spend 5 months of your life, and it's supposed you have to make the first call in the first hour that you're detained,
Yeah.
and 5 months without any phone calls, without anything, 3 months without see the sunlight. And it was the full 1 year. My first year, it was in that intelligence prison, just listening how they torture people, healing these people. Then,
So then the second year you went to, that's the one that looks really run down.
like the yes,
I mean, it's like
yeah,
boards and yeah, okay,
yeah.
so it's pretty bad. Food's terrible. I'm guessing. I saw the
Yeah.
room. The food had to have been. I mean, how
Yeah,
often,
they don't even give you food.
how often did you eat?
I was able to eat there 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a
What would they
day.
give you? What kind of food would?
No, not their food, because their
Oh.
food, it was like a
Your parents would have to
basic
bring you food
Yeah.
without your $50 a month too.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Yep. And my dad being retired from the
My
subway,
goodness.
so yeah,
Well, it was
it
hard.
was a whole thing.
How far from the prison was your parents' home?
Like an hour and a half.
Just to bring you food? Oh my goodness! It's
Yeah.
a full-time job.
And the only thing, the only allowed person to visit are just women.
Did you have your own room?
Yes and no.
Would people like attack you because you had food?
I was in the first moment when I went to this in the second year, starting at the end of my first year in prison. They transferred me thanks to this all this violation from the human rights and the political prisoners on these places. They just take us to this other prison, like a common prison, in order to kind of put the waters down and calm everything. But I mean, in the common prison, there is common prisoners,
Sure.
like murderers and kidnappers and a
You
lot
made
of
all kinds of new friends.
Yep, no friends. And when I get there, there's people. They call me. We were known as political prisoners, right? They call me the political strawberry, or in Spanish, I will say el político fresa, just because I had this. I don't know how to say it in English, but I just say good morning, officer. May I have?
You were polite.
What I was polite.
You were polite.
So just because that in this environment, like really bad environment, they would say, "Oh, you're like."
So fresa in some Latin cultures it means that you're like gay. Is it kind of like more? It means like you're soft, like you're you're refined.
Refined. I will say refined.
Okay,
Yeah, I will say refined.
So it's not necessarily they're calling you a derogatory term. They're saying that you're fine.
Yeah.
That you don't belong there, basically.
Correct.
They're like, this isn't a hardened gang
Yes.
member. This
Yes.
guy says good morning. And
Correct. He asked for permission and he needs to go to the bathroom. And, hey, officer, may I go to the bathroom, please?
Sure.
And all this works for these common prisoners. It was like, just bad words. Hey, I'm going to go to the bathroom or whatever. And they just, I will say this, and I'm sorry, but they make poop on bags on the highest levels of the prison. And just because nothing works in there, like anything works, so they just poop in bags and throw it away from the windows. And just because we were in the down level, and in the first level, so we have to put some plastic bags on the.
So it wouldn't hit your window.
Yep.
So guys, if you're on vacation in Venezuela, don't hang out at the bottom of the windows. That's not where you want to go.
Yeah, and if you do,
stick to the beaches.
Just put some plastic bags in there.
So, did you ever get roughed up in there? Did anyone ever hurt you? Did you ever get beat up?
No.
Did you ever steal your food?
Yeah, there was a guy, and that was thanks to that situation. It was a mission from the UN, United Nations. They were kind of following the political prisoners in Venezuela, that specific cases and stuff. Just right the day that they were trying to go to prison to check on us, how we were and how was everything there, just because they just sent us to this common prison, they don't have any space for us to leave, so they just put us with the better people in the prison.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was crazy. So this guy one day was like 2 weeks without water, and just because 2 weeks without water, and just because we paid for water, we paid for food, we paid for have a phone in there. So you paid basically to the boss of the prison. I don't know how to say it, like the director,
The warden.
The warden.
Yeah, you pay to them to be able to have your phone and food, and your family have to pay to come inside of the prison.
It's a corrupt racket.
Yes,
the warden does okay. He has a good gig.
Everything. So pay for phone and everything. So that's why I was able to have these pictures and kind of my proof that I was actually there. Besides, I have my court thing.
Did you often think, I'm never going to get out of here?
Yes.
I mean, 2 years, that's a long time. You're 24?
I'm 28. I was there with 23. I went out with 25.
So you're a 25-year-old kid. 2 years, you're like, I'm never getting out of here.
Yeah,
this is my life.
I was thinking, I went out. I will go out of here with 52, the age of my dad at that.
So was it your lawyer that got you out? Oh, first off, before we talk about you getting out of there, you mentioned to me that your conversion and you started thinking about God was when you were in prison. You picked up a Bible or something, or somebody let you have a Bible?
Yeah, since the first
started reading the Bible.
Yeah, since the first moment, and my first prison time, my first year, and this intelligence prison, I just requested my family, hey, just could you please give me a Bible? And that was one of the things that
did that bring you peace? How did that help you? Did the Bible? How did you feel about the Bible?
Yeah, and I will say most of the 3 months without seeing sunlight, not going out, just being locked in that cell. They call it the submarine, just because it was like this hole in here, and just that's it, and even smaller than this. And thanks to that, I just me and another group of friends, we just kind of start reading the Bible and go through pages and learning and discussing about the Bible and history and what I actually like at that point, it was just a history, like how everything was changing, and the fact that there was people unfairly in prison just because they were just given the word, God's word, or sharing sharing the Bible thing, or you know what I mean. It was really powerful for me just to have that book in my hands during that time, just because that really healed me. That really healed me.
Did you? I'm guessing because you didn't grow up in church and thinking a lot about God. Do you feel like it was the beginnings of a relationship with Jesus, where you got to figure out who He was? Could you feel that inside yourself?
Yep, that was a moment for me.
Would that give you hope? Would that give you?
Yeah, there was a moment for me when I actually feel that power that it's like I'm with you. Just don't worry, I'm with you.
Well,
And
cool. Very
and
cool.
just imagine this, like 5 months without know anything, and most of the people around of you, they're in the same position, and most of them they have more time than you, and they, oh yes, I'm for terrorism here, and I'm from Trajan, yeah,
Treason.
treason. I'm here for
Just
this.
a bunch of bullcrap
Yes, and I was
charges.
like, okay, this comes from me. This is following me also because I'm not here because whatever other thing, and just having that and no connection or communication with the exterior, my family and everything outside, that was crazy. And the Bible or the Word actually helped me to okay, everything will be good. Even it was there is some that they cut the light, and it was this hall when we were, and it was like a basement thing. So any source of light, anything. So when they
That
just turn off
sounds
the lights,
terrible.
you have
That
your
sounds
eyes
absolutely
yes,
terrible.
you have your eyes open, and okay, it's like if I close my eyes, it's the same.
Wow.
It was crazy, and thanks to that, that gives me all the first year, I will say, where I don't have communication, just 3 minutes to speak with my family when they allow us every 15 days.
Wow.
So yeah, in 3 minutes, I have to figure it out. Like I need this toilet paper, I need soap, and I need
You can't
food,
even
whatever.
chat. You're not even chatting. It's
No, I was just like,
I'm hungry.
okay, I need this. How everything goes? Okay, how's my mom? How's my dad? Everything okay? Everything's cool. Bye. I have to.
So in the interest of time, let me discuss what we want to go over the next 20 minutes, maybe 30. We're okay going a little
I
longer.
like him to go
Yeah,
out of
we
prison.
want you to tell us how you got out of prison. And then we're going to talk about how you got to America, and that process,
Okay.
and then how you were introduced to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and your conversion. So we're going to break those up into 3 minute, 3 minute, 3 minute, and then your conversion another 10 minutes plus. Okay.
Okay.
So you're in prison. The condensed version. How the heck did you get out of this prison? I mean, you're there 2 years plus.
Yes, 2 years.
Was it your lawyer pull a miracle? Your parents?
Yeah.
Do you feel like this relationship with Christ? Do you feel like God helped you get out of prison? Tell me how you got out of there. Tell us how you got out of there.
Even my family, just like I told you guys, my family was not very religious, but they, thanks to this situation, they just go to whatever thing can help us, to get out of this situation. So even that, even my parents, they just start reading the Bible and stuff like this. But most of the work, it was thanks to my parents and all this. They went to these embassies and they made my case like public on social media, TV,
They had your text,
stuff like that.
Did they have your okay?
Yeah, they had everything. So thanks to that, even the main attorney from Venezuela, he just go out on TV and he just start speaking about my case in TV. And
Is that dangerous for him?
no, I mean
Did
this.
they throw that guy in prison?
I mean, it was they have the power to put him in prison, so they just have the power to do it. And he's just like, okay, Guillermo Gonzalez, he's a terrorist, and he's blamed for this, and he will be his life in prison.
Yeah.
So at that point, we were like, okay, this is serious now. After 2 years, this guy just suddenly appears on TV and saying like, I'm guilty. Okay, this is crazy. So
Which I googled you. There's worldwide news clippings of you.
Yeah, even in France. In France.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. So how'd you get out?
Thanks to my family, they're working with everybody, and thanks to that thing, I think it was a fight in between the government and my family. Like this media fight, and we won. We won at that point. So
let me ask you: was there a great risk to your family to fight with them?
Yes, it was. Even
they
my
could throw
brother,
your mom and dad in there.
Yeah, even my brother. They just kidnapped my brother for like I will say 20, 30 minutes. Well, at the beginning of when
just to scare him.
Yeah, just like, hey, does your brother have any bank account outside from here? Just talking about the $40,000, and it's like, no, he just have this Venezuelan bank account. Yeah. It's like $50 there, maybe less. So thanks to my family, I just went out. The trial ends basically. They sentenced me to 2 felonies or 2 charges. They put like disclosure confidential information because they say like I was taking pictures from the airplanes in the control tower, and that was not legal to do.
No, come
like,
on.
okay, just put a big wall around the airport.
yeah, what are
No
you talking
one, no
about?
one
Yeah.
will. Yeah. And thanks to that, I just went out. When I went out, I was at home and my family. I mean, I just right the next day I went out. There was a whole thing, and the court they don't allow me to leave from the court. They just wanted me to go back to prison, and from prison, just they will release me. But what we
You're-
know
no
is like in
thanks.
prison, it's like okay, if you're releasing me, why I have to go back to prison?
So they can take you out.
Yeah, and in prison they usually keep the people there.
Yeah.
So even you have the order from the
Well,
judge.
They're making money.
Yes. Yes.
Oh yeah.
So even they have the order from the judge, like you have to release this guy. Okay, so they take you there, and you spend 1-2 more years in prison. And well,
you're like, no thanks, dude.
no thanks. There was a fight. That was crazy. I run away from the core building
That's what I would have done.
with my family.
Yeah.
They just over me and my lawyer and my mom and everybody. I just run away from the core building and go into my uncle's car, and they just run away from there. It was crazy. Like it was actually escaping from there.
Sure. Good.
It was like
Yeah.
okay, well, I went home, and the next
Escaping,
morning,
but you've been released.
kind of,
Yeah,
yes. When I went home the next morning, this police car just parked in front of my house again. All guys dressed as like civilians and with guns, like intelligence. They were just parking there, very random. It's like, oh, just watching the skies. Like, oh yeah,
You're like,
for sure.
You are like, I'm getting out of Venezuela.
Yes. At that point, I was like a month and a half in Venezuela. I was living in between my house and some friend's house, just moving, because I was feeling these people, and they used to get people back to prison. They release you.
I wouldn't have even gone to my house. I would have
Well,
been scared to death of that.
They release you, and they just have 2-3 hours, 1 day, 1 week, and they grab you back, and they just put another felonies on you. That's how they work. So I wasn't this.
You talk about the president again. Off you go.
Yeah, after 2 years, no thanks.
All right. So you're out, and you decide to get out of Venezuela. Who facilitated you getting out of there? How'd you get out? Did you get on an airplane? Did you cross into another country?
I took the risk basically without knowing if I have still showing in the system like it was suspect or whatever. I just took the risk took a flight from Caracas and go to the border with Colombia in Cucuta. There's a border between Venezuela and Colombia. So I just grabbed a flight and like national flight from Caracas.
Can't believe you got on a
Táchira. Yes, but I will say I prefer this, and it's just one control, police control, than if I go like on the ground and there's a lot of this control police post in the middle of the highway. So I was like, no, I prefer just one control on the airport, and that's it. I took that risk.
One checkpoint.
Yeah, one
You
checkpoint.
were praying. You were praying, I bet.
Yes,
Yeah.
I was there. Really scary. Really, really scary. I just grabbed that plane. I went down in Táchira, just in the state in the border with Colombia. And then I just grabbed a guy. I was already contact him. I was by friends. Hey, do you guys know any guy who can cross me to Colombia from the green side, nothing from the right side? I was like, oh yes, I know a guy. So I text him. He was just waiting for me in the airport, and we just started going from the airport. We started going, and it passed these checkpoints from the Venezuelan army. Maybe some people who was studying with me, and I live with. Probably they were there. I don't know, but this army checkpoints and National Guard checkpoints and national police checkpoints, and then that's the craziest thing. I don't know how to say this word is hard for me. Las guerrillas, like guerrillas.
Yeah.
This army, Colombian drug army, whatever. Yeah. They have a checkpoint just a couple of meters away from the Venezuelan army. That's insane. That blows my mind. So I was really, really, really scary because I was okay. One of these guys can check on me and they can take me back to this. So it was really scary. But the guy on the bike, he was really. Oh, I know how to say. I know this is my life. I live doing this. So thanks to that guy, I just crossed the border to Colombia. When he finally tells me, it's like, "Hey, we're in Colombia already." It's like, in that moment, my soul goes back to my body.
Oh wow.
It was like, okay, I'm free now. Just like this and that. Geo, I don't know if you guys see it some days, like lockdown in another country. There was a show in that
So,
Geo.
yeah.
I'm feeling that, but in my own country.
Sure. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, when it just crossed the
So,
border,
How much money do you have in your pocket right now? You're in Colombia. You got what? $5?
nothing.
You
I had
nothing?
like
You got
less
nothing.
than $100.
And how did you get up to the States? You had a girlfriend in Utah or something like that?
Yes. I just crossed the border to Colombia, grab a flight just because I had visa.
How did you have a girlfriend?
His girlfriend had
we know
somehow
her.
made it to Utah.
Yeah.
Oh, she's from Venezuela.
Yeah, she's from Venezuela. Yeah, and I was in this specific and very basic situation where I have my U.S. visa valid, but my Venezuelan passport was expired. So the only country in the world that actually accept me in that specific situation with a Venezuelan with a passport expired, it was the United States.
That's right.
Just because I had a visa.
Because I was in banking, and that's what we would do to open checking accounts. They expired.
Really?
They weren't
Because he had a visa.
Just because I had a visa. Just
So
because
nobody had a passport that was valid.
So you get to Salt Lake City.
No,
and
I
you
went
found
to
out
Orlando.
Your girlfriend wasn't faithful while you were in prison. Is that what happened?
No.
Oh, okay.
I was good at that point, yeah. She just came when I was in like 6 months before I just went out of prison. So I took a flight from Cucuta, Bogota, and then from Bogota to Orlando.
Okay.
With Spirit. It was nice, Spirit. It was nice at that point.
Everything was nice after the Venezuelan prison.
Yeah, I was
Everything was nice.
Yeah, I was with my brother.
If you want to sponsor us,
Yeah. Spirit Airlines. We have a sponsorship available.
Yeah. I was with my brother and in Florida when I just barely arrived in the United States, and I just stayed in Florida for I will say month and a half, while I just had the chance to take some money and then just come here when my girlfriend was, and that's what brought me to Utah basically because she was here and her family was here, and that's the main thing. That's what I came to Utah, and I will say just changing a little bit to why what keeps me in Utah. I don't have an answer for that because my whole family, my mom, my dad, and my brother, they're in Florida. This girlfriend, we just broke
made
up.
it up here.
Yeah.
You broke up with this girlfriend.
Yep, and I just stay here in Utah. I'm just working. I'm just waiting on my process, in my asylum process. I'm able to work and live and do everything.
Where were you staying?
I just rent an apartment.
Renting a room or something?
Yeah. I just rent an apartment. Yeah.
Good for you.
And yeah, just kind of going from this low work and then go back to server and then go up to another one, and then I'm working now in a bank. So kind of growing every time.
Guillermo's lived the American dream already, guys. He's already made it. You already made it, dude.
We're working on it.
No, man, look at your friends in Venezuela.
Yeah.
They can't even dream about what you are doing right now.
Yeah.
You have a good job, it's stable, you have a place to live, you can talk bad about the president. Everyone does. You can you can blow up car dealerships if you want nowadays. Right? You are the American dream. Like, this is amazing for you.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Who introduced you to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints while you were here?
It was the missioners.
They knock on your door?
They just knock on the door.
Oh, and you were nice.
Yeah.
What was your first thing? Like, get out of here, man.
No, I was. Thanks before.
We've got sons on missions right now.
Well,
yeah.
Just if I don't get through all this prison time and Bible and God connection thing, I will probably. I'm a nice in general. I'm a nice person. I'm not like, oh no, thank you.
We
just
can
get
tell.
out of here.
You were Fresa. You were a Fresa prisoner.
I'm a Fresa prisoner.
You're a nice guy.
So I just let him pass and start talking, and it was funny because when they were mention some people from the Bible like Jacob, Job, or Abraham, whatever. They were. I was responding to them. Usually, when a missionary go to a house, the people does not know a lot about it. Most of the times, and they were surprised. Like, oh, you know a lot. You know at least what we're talking about.
Oh yeah, I read it for hours. That's all I had.
Yeah, I'm all in here.
Years.
And yeah, that kind of was my first contact with the. I don't even know about LDS. I don't even know about it. Even when I was moving from Florida to Utah, a lot of people, Utah, are
Yeah,
you
careful.
sure, man?
They have
Don't
horns
touch me.
there. Yeah. So let me ask you, like, what was it that the missionaries shared when you first felt like there was something there for you? What was it that they said that you're like, hey, this might be something from God? What was it?
Yeah, I remember it was the fact because they asked me how I know a lot about or how I knew about Bible and this
Yeah.
people from the Bible, and I just kind of explained them. Oh well, I passed through this situation, and okay, well, and they just go with Alma 14, I think it is,
Yeah.
with Alma and Amulek.
Yeah.
They go to prison also and
Yeah.
stuff. So it was like, oh, interesting. That happens in the Bible and then here also. And then of course I'm in Utah, so I have a lot of people who is
Yeah.
LDS and I know a lot of people and they just talk about just a little bit here, a little bit there. And that's kind of that was my first
So you were
message.
curious. You
Yeah.
were like, what's going on with this LDS
Yeah, what's
stuff?
going on? And it was like more for the historic
Mhm.
side, the fact that I just go into I want to know more.
Yeah.
Because I was saying at the end, and that's my thought right now. In the Bible, we just see okay, the beginning, then Jesus Christ, and then apocalypse, and everybody is dead. That's what we see in the Bible. So the Book of Mormon, at least in my opinion, is like a continuation from this part of the history that was in black, where nothing was there after Jesus Christ, it was nothing there. So that was one of the things that I really want to know a little bit more about this. And this is not how most of the people outside, when I was coming to Utah, think. It's like,
Yeah,
oh,
no, yeah.
Utah, are you sure Utah?
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, I'm still alive. I'm here.
Yeah. It's better than the Venezuelan prison.
It is.
Um,
It is.
So you prayed about the Book of Mormon. You prayed about this Moroni's promise. You felt like it was true. And how hard was it for you? I'm guessing it was kind of easy for you. Am I wrong? Like, hey, God, you got me out of prison. I'll do whatever you want.
Yeah.
I know how bad it can get.
Yeah.
Was it kind of like that for you?
Correct. Yeah.
As soon as you felt like it's what he wanted you to do, was it pretty easy?
It was really easy. The fact that I was enjoying the time with the missioners, just come to my house and I was chatting with him, and
Well, should
I was just
we give
expecting
them a shout out? Who are these elders?
Yeah, of course. Actually, the elder who baptized me, he just ended his mission today. Actually,
Oh, where does he
his
live?
last day.
Where's he
He's
from?
in California. He's from Guatemala,
Oh,
but he lives in California.
Elder, what's his name?
Almazan.
Almazan. And who was his companion? Was it a
Well, yeah,
gringo?
a couple.
Was it
Yeah,
a
it was
gringo?
a
Like
gringo. It was
a-
a gringo.
Yeah, like a,
Right now, his companion is Meservi, Elder Meservi, and he's still going on
here in Orem.
there. No, in Eagle Mountain.
Oh, in Eagle Mountain.
Yeah,
Okay.
Eagle
Oh, they were
Mountain,
Eagle-
Saratoga,
oh,
that
okay,
area. And yeah, this thanks to this guy, and I appreciate him for just knocking my door and let me know
Doing the work.
about they're doing the
Good
work.
job, elders. You know what? You wanted to stay home that day because it was cold, and instead you found Guillermo. Way to go!
Yeah,
my-
they did a really nice job, and thanks
Good
to
job.
that, I just get baptized. Today is Tuesday.
Yeah, just
I
last
get
Saturday.
baptized,
You got a new
yesterday.
girlfriend now.
Yes.
And how long you been
Yeah.
dating this girl? She got baptized what, a month
Like
ago?
2 weeks ago. Like
Where'd you meet her?
Here in Utah. She's Venezuelan also.
What made her decide to join the church? Did you teach her? Did she teach
I
you?
didn't know her in the church.
Hmm.
It was very random at the bank.
And then, but she got baptized too.
Yes,
Who taught her?
Yes.
Missionaries?
I was talking with her about, these guys are visiting me. Oh yes, I received visits from this other.
Oh, she was seeing
girls
missionaries at
and
the same
stuff.
time.
Yeah.
You know, this is one of the highest baptizing missions in the world.
Yeah.
Utah. I mean,
Yeah,
if you're a kid in the world and you want to go baptize people, you go to Utah
Yep.
because this is where they baptize. Like, yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it's very nice, and thanks to them.
Are you in a Spanish ward or are you in a English ward?
I'm in a Spanish word. I mean, I will go to whatever. I'm
Yeah.
learning Portuguese now.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, it works for me.
They'll follow it to me.
Yeah,
No, I don't.
it works.
I don't speak Portuguese. I was on the border.
We're learning.
I
Yeah.
was on the border of Brazil.
We have a Portuguese ward in my ward building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're awesome.
So you follow.
One thing I noticed about the Portuguese ward, and they're mostly, I'll lean a little bit. They're mostly from Brazil, but like they're very loud in between classes because they're always chatting and so friendly with each other. And we talk a little bit, but it's
Hey,
quiet, it's
white people wards, I got a problem with us. Okay. You ever go to like a Latino ward party? That's a party. You go to the like Polynesian wards,
yeah.
that's a party. Our parties are so dumb. I mean, come on, white people. Come on, just regular
I've seen some
people.
pretty fair-skinned Venezuelans. Maybe I'll just hit up a
Say, hey, at least come be the activities chairman.
Yeah.
I don't speak Spanish, but I'm here to party.
You should try it.
Guillermo, let me tell you the lessons that I'm gleaning from your story. And I think all of our lives are like this. Travis, you tell me. We weren't in Venezuelan prisons, but we've all gone through refiner's fire. We've all gone through difficulty, right? There is no question, Guillermo, that as I'm listening to you talk, everything that happened to you, everything you went through, the Lord was involved with it. It was for your good.
100%.
It was for your good. Now, I believe he does this with everybody, but sometimes they're not humble enough to be the nice fresa prisoner.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes they just double down and get more mad. I mean, I'm literally saying to you that I believe the Lord was involved in you going to prison so that you could be where you are today. And I believe he does this with all of his children. He extends these situations to everybody to give multiple chances to turn to him.
Mm-hmm.
You were smart enough to turn to him in prison, and you were smart enough to get to know him there instead of doubling down and angry and yelling at guards and being an idiot. And now you're in Utah where you learn the restored gospel of Jesus Christ. Had you ever seen missionaries in Venezuela when you were young?
Never.
You never seen the LDS
I don't
churches?
remember.
Is there a temple in Caracas? I don't know.
No, I think it's in Maracaibo,
Oh, okay.
Zulia State.
So you didn't know much about it. I just think it's a really cool story how look what you had to go through to get to where you are. And what I hope you learn from this, Guillermo, is I don't think the Venezuelan prison is going to be the hardest thing you go through in your life.
No.
We go through hard things throughout our whole lives. And if we can keep the mindset that you had, to where we turn to the Bible, we turn to God, he can make those experiences all be for our good, to where what later in our life we can look back on these terrible things. I mean, luckily I've never had to hear someone be tortured. I've never had to wonder if I was ever going to see my family again or if I was ever going to get out of a prison. But man, these things are literally, it's crazy to think about. We go through these things as part of a plan of a merciful and loving Heavenly Father because it's for our good. And I always talk about the 500-year plan with my kids. 500 years from now, you're in a Venezuelan prison, you're not going to think about it. You're not even going to think about this mortality very much. You're going to be in the real life, you know, the life that matters, which isn't the one on this earth.
Not this one.
This is only here to learn things, to gain experience, to get through what I call, you know, to me, when you graduate from earth, we were talking about being babies before. It's like elementary school graduation. You pass through earth onto the real life. You're not going to, but man, these things are part of a merciful Heavenly Father's plan. And I just think it's really cool that you were a good person. You're a chosen son of God who turned to him in prison. And as soon as those missionaries came to your door, you were like, okay, man, I'm going to do this. I'm going to pay the Lord back. We're all unprofitable servants. We'll never be able to pay him back all the way, but I'm going to be loyal to him, and I'm going to make these sacrifices, and I'm going to serve him. I challenge you, Guillermo, as a new member of the church, to be anxiously engaged in the service of the church. And the problem with America for people that come from other countries is it offers you so much. But my only warning to you as your brother in the priesthood and brother in Christ is most of what this country has to offer you is not very good. Chasing money, chasing stuff, it can consume you and ruin your life. So keep a humble perspective. Be grateful for if you have accumulated more now than you ever will the rest of your life.
Of course.
Just be grateful and don't worry about it and serve God, and He'll carry you the rest of the way. Travis, I don't know. Anything? Dude, thank you so much, man.
No,
For coming here. This is amazing.
thank you. I appreciate it. Let me take this back off.
Yeah, of course.
No, Guillermo, that was really, I love that story. And it's probably should be made into a TV movie. Maybe that could be one of our first.
Lifetime?
When we get enough money accumulated, we could produce a movie about Guillermo's life.
I'm the warden.
You be the warden.
Hey, Fresa! What
Not the prisoner again.
No.
Oh, who are we going to have play? Rudy.
He'll be
My mechanic, Rudy.
Yeah.
He'll be the prisoner.
So anyway, I thank you so much. That was really good.
Yeah.
Glenn, I loved your testimony at the end there. And, I think honestly, I think that's kind of it. I mean,
Thanks for tuning in. Hey, what do we want them to do, Travis?
please like, subscribe, comment, critique. That's maybe we add that one.
Please.
Yeah.
We would love to be able to touch as many people as we can. And the way the algorithm works, it's through your action. Guillermo came and told us a compelling story. I loved
Pretty amazing.
hearing that. And honestly, we are doing this to help reach people and help bring them closer to Christ. So
Yeah, as my wife said, we don't want you to just subscribe and click because we want likes. We want you to subscribe and click because we need this to get the messages that we have planned for the next year. We need it to get to as many people as we can, and they need to be able to find us on YouTube. So the more subscribers we have, Spotify we're still figuring out. Producer Dan's coming back. A month from now, we're going to have this is going to be all dialed in, but we need your help. Thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing and subscribing, and we love you.
I will say maybe one more thing is, if you are in that prison right now, and I will say my prison was different than probably yours. If you're in that moment of your life that you feel you're attached to something that it doesn't worth, if you're with alcohol or if you're going to parties or not putting attention to your family, hope you know what I mean. Just go out of that prison, or even better, don't wait to go to that prison in order to find God, basically.
Great. That's
Just
a great
get out
comment.
of there right now.
No, good job, man. You're right. People why do they like to suffer? We're like that. Thank you, Guillermo. It's awesome.
I'm gonna show the picture of the
Dude, pull up that prison cell and show these people where
Hold it
you
up there to
live.
the camera.
Yeah, hold it up because we're ghetto right now.
Maybe we'll have you send Guillermo. We'll have you send that to Glenn, and then we'll have producer Dan.
Look at that nice room.
We could at least include it in the comments.
I could make my poop thing right in there.
Oh yeah, so that's a nice one.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Spirit Airlines had a better bathroom, I
Of
bet.
course they do.
You
Wild.
still don't want to be sitting under it. Yeah.
It's also inside of prison.
Wow.
Don't go there.
Don't go there.
All right, producer Dan, your
Thanks,
homework.
everybody.
Your homework, if you can choose to do it, is put those pictures at least in the comments. If not, intertwine them into the video.